Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Hardcore Season 2 world. I hope you're all having a great day today. We are currently not in the new version of Minecraft. We are not in 1.21. As you can see, we are still in 1.20.1. I didn't even update to one of the minor versions. Call me lazy, but apparently I just get stuck in a version and then I just refuse to update. Well, no more. Because you see that little number? Well, oh my goodness, look at that. It just ticked over. Well, I guess that means that we've updated then. Oh no, I can't zoom anymore. I need to install all the mods again. But, this place does look basically exactly how I left it. Doesn't look like anything's gone wrong. So there we have it. We're now part of the 1.21 Tricky Trials update, and I just pressed C to zoom in on my face just to demonstrate. Like, it was a close-up, right? It was supposed to be a close-up shot, and what I've not got is a zoom in. So we're just gonna do this real quick. Yeah, there we go. We're now part of the 1.21 Tricky Trials update. And that means that we've got plenty of new blocks. There's new copper blocks, new tough blocks, tough brick blocks, I mean. We've already got tough, but we can make bricks out of them now, so that's pretty cool. We've also got the crafter block for automatic crafting, which I would love to make use of for this world. I've got plenty of farms that need it, including the iron farm just over there. I'd love to incorporate that into the design somewhere. And there's also trial chambers, which are an interesting way of revamping the Minecraft dungeons without revamping them at all. So now that we have the old dungeons, they have been untouched. They still have their regular spawners. And now we have the trial chambers, which is basically a dungeon hyped up to 11. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to raiding one. But that is not what we're going to do today. I would quite like to make use out of the crafter block. So to craft a crafter, we're going to need a crafting table, some redstone, some iron, and some droppers. And there we go. That's actually just popped up the recipe right there and then. So, what did I do with my iron? Oh, I put the wrong thing in there. So, I turn this into iron and it should pop up right here. There we go. Let's just go ahead and craft 13 of them. There we go. That's beautiful. Crafters. So this can be used to craft items automatically. And you can do it with redstone. And basically you can deselect certain slots that you don't want a crafter to use. And you can feed items into it with a hopper. And it will fill it in from this slot onwards. And then all the way down to the bottom, I believe. And that is actually quite a revolutionary item to add to the game. All of the tedious farms, like gold farms, where you have to craft the golden nuggets into golden ingots just for them to be usable, well, now we just need to plop a crafter down and it would do it all for us. That's pretty good. So if I use iron as an example, I could fill in all of these slots and I could get a block of iron out of this, but I can't actually select this myself. I have to use redstone. So I can just put this button on the block and power it, and it'll give me a block of iron. Lovely. And we can even craft it the other way back into ingots again. And that means that I can actually go right ahead and upgrade my super redstone super smelter, which now has 2 supers in the name for some reason. And one thing that I just noticed is that I didn't actually hear the pistons fire at all just then. And that's another change for 1.21, and I've got to say, I wonder if that's too quiet. That's one of my satisfying things with this super smelter, is that it makes a loud noise as it rumbles along and opens all of the furnaces up for smelting, and now that was super quiet. I'm not sure I like that. Can I get the noise back, please? But anyway, these furnaces smelt using bamboo, and we can use the crafter block to change that bamboo into sticks, and it'll be slightly more, well, I can smelt more items for less items, basically. You see, bamboo, you need 4 bamboo to smelt 1 item, whereas you only need 2 sticks. And yeah, I barely heard the pistons at all just then. I don't like that. But yeah, I think we're going to have to swap out the input system for fuel to be sticks rather than bamboo, because we can craft sticks with bamboo. So let's just break our way in here. Oh, right, so these minecarts are slowly collecting bamboo when the bamboo farm above is harvested, and all of the bamboo goes down this hopper chain to smelt our items, and we have excess going down to storage down there somewhere. But we actually need to put a crafter in here somewhere. So let's have it facing this way, because we want our crafter to be firing our items into the super smelter. So to make an automatic redstone autocrafter, really it's just a longer version of what you might build for a honey farm. I know that you can probably get this a lot more compact if you have a different signal going into this comparator here to make it so you don't need a redstone signal of 15 over here. But this is just a very simple thing and it works, so what's the issue, hey? So we've got our 2 slots here for bamboo to be turned into sticks. And I've actually got a bit of a failsafe system over here that stops the bamboo from going into the crafter. And that's because this hopper is actually containing a lot of items. But if I take some of these out, the crafter will start crafting up the sticks for us and inputting them into the furnace array. However, the reason why I have this failsafe system is because the crafter doesn't actually know when to stop. So if I remove this redstone, it is still chugging. It is still chugging away. And what happens in a second, once this reaches 64 items, it will have nowhere else inside of this hopper to put those sticks. And there we go. It's still firing the sticks out, but it can't get them in the hopper. So what's it doing? It's literally just firing them out into the world. That's not what we want to happen. So we have our failsafe system just there to stop that from ever happening. We don't want to be wasting all of our bamboo after all. We still want some of it for our building blocks. So I've basically got a comparator reading the very top of our furnace fuel situation here, so that if it ever gets full, then the crafter will stop crafting. But now that I've done that, our furnaces will now be powered by sticks rather than bamboo, and that means that we can basically fit twice as many fuel items into the furnace array than before. So that's pretty good going. But super smelters are a rather niche use for the crafters, so what else can we do with them? Well, that's actually why I've come over to my iron farm. I can actually craft a lot of items with purely iron. We can craft minecarts, shears, anvils, trapdoors, pressure plates, iron doors, chains, iron bars, cauldrons, and iron blocks, as well as... oh, hang on. I've forgotten one. As well as iron nuggets. But of course, I do not care about crafting iron nuggets, so we're just gonna throw them over the edge into the blue lava below. But that does mean that I could craft all of these items without any of the tedium of actually having to craft the items myself. I could set up an auto-crafting system that would give me all of these items for free. Just automatically. Hang on, zoom for effect. That would be really nice, wouldn't it? So I was thinking of dedicating 2 columns of the iron farm storage purely to the items that I can craft with iron. And then these remaining 6 columns of chests would be purely for the iron blocks. And then we could turn our bone meal into bone blocks as well, and our poppies. We could turn a lot of this into red dye, actually. I think we could keep some of them as poppies, just in case we wanted a lot of them, but I think this is mostly going to be turned into red dye. So let's see what on earth we need to do to bring all of those crafted items to fruition. And I think the first thing that we actually want to do is to rip out those hoppers back there and replace them with droppers, specifically for these 2 columns of chests. And we're going to be feeding all of these items individually into the chests. Otherwise, I feel like the hoppers are going to be taking items out of each various different hoppers if I have them stacked up in a column. And that's going to make sorting a bit of a nightmare. So, droppers it is. But of course, I have plenty of iron in here, so we should probably actually just go right ahead and just break the whole thing, you know? Let's just get all the iron out. Give ourselves some wiggle room. Ah, you see, this is exactly what I need an autocrafter for. I don't want to be having to do this. Okay, this should hopefully be enough of a buffer for the iron that's still coming in. So now I can just remove all of these hoppers, which are also full of iron, because of course they are. So first things first, I think I want to get my dropper input system in place. So we're going to need a lot of observers for that, mostly because we're going to have these observers going down a chain and firing all the droppers at once so that they automatically get put into these chests. And I think that should end up working. And because I'm rich, I can build out of iron blocks. What on earth? Inside? You guys can't spawn in here. That is not allowed. Now that we've got our observers in, we can start placing our dropper chains in. And with that out of the road, we can get our chests back into place. And I think we're going to go with this layout for our storage, with the pressure plates and cauldrons at the bottom and the shears and the doors at the top. And I've decided to double up on the anvil and trapdoor chests because I feel like those are the items that if I want a lot of, I'm going to want a lot of them. Like trapdoors, for example, they could be really good inside of a creeper farm. And then also the anvils, they could be great for like railings and that kind of thing. So given that I think I might use them the most, 2 double chests. So we should now have a system that can deposit our items into the storage system there. So if I put a torch in here, for example, and then I activate this observers a few times, you know, just really drive home the fact that there's some activating thingamajigs going on. That torch should be gone, and it should have ended up in this chest just here. And it has. Excellent. So we know that that dropper chain works. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't have, but you never know. Sometimes redstone can be confusing. And the way that I'm going to fire these observer and dropper chains is I'm actually going to go ahead and have like a sticky piston set up so that we can push some observers into place with a sticky piston. And that should make a noise machine. And then that way I can determine whether the farm is inputting items into those chests and making a mighty racket, or if I want it to be silent because the chests are full over there, so I can just turn the whole thing off. And I think I want to double up on the storage behind here in case the chests do become empty and I'm trying to take items out of them, and I think, oh, you know what, I actually want to refill these, so I'm going to have a bit of a backlog out the back here. And that helps allow us to split the hoppers away from each other, and we can do our own little crafting thing with each one individually, rather than having to deal with all of them all at once. Is this considered overkill on backlog storage? Nah. I mean, what is that? 2 double chests of each item for storage? I'd say that's pretty reasonable. And now I've introduced a system that allows me to turn the observer clocks on and off whenever I like, and I simply pull this lever, all of the observers go into place. We've got redstone torches making sure that all of these pistons are powered when that lever is powered off. And yeah, it makes a noise. And what it should do is that whenever we've got storage back here for items to go into our actual storage on the other side of the wall there, we can just pull this lever and fire it straight across. So I can put a few stacks of iron blocks in here, and you know what? We're going to try and beat it round to the other side, which I should be able to do. But if I just fly over here, we should be able to see all of these items being fired into the chests, and we can, so that's brilliant. System clearly works. It is rather noisy though, so that's why I have an off switch. So I guess the first thing we need to do is actually go ahead and start building our auto crafting system. So this is going to be our first item in here, going into these 4 barrels here in this hopper chain. And I think we're going to make this be the iron pressure plates, the heavy weighted ones. So we'll just get our crafter there. We can have an input system on the side, and then also have our little redstone circuitry going out this side here. I'm going to use a glass block for transparency, and then the rest of our redstone. And hopefully that will be enough. We only need 2 slots for this. And that should be as simple as that. So if I just go ahead and turn some of this iron into iron ingots and put them into our chests there, and we'll take that out. There we go. That should just be crafting trapdoors. Sorry, the pressure plates. And they should be ending up down here. Excellent, it's working. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. And we should be able to do exactly the same thing with buckets. And we've got all of that set up now. So if I put my iron in here, we should be getting automatic buckets. Just see if that's worked. Where would that be going? In here. Yes, we're getting buckets. Awesome. Although it has just occurred to me that we're not measuring whether or not the system will be overflowing or not. So let's just go ahead, try and fix that real quick. This should do the trick. The comparator will read this, and once it gets a few items in there, it will lock this hopper. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Oh, no, I'm supposed to be locking these hoppers. Whoops. Oh, in that case, that's too close to that, isn't it? I can't have these right next to each other. Okay, well, we're ripping this out then. Okay, we're going to try that again. So, when we get a signal from this hopper here, we will be locking that hopper there. Just get our repeater in there. Get some redstone. And that should work once this thing fills up with pressure plates. Now I just need to redo the buckets again. But you know what? I'm going to do this on the other side. That's going to be our input system there. I just feel like that's going to make things a bit simpler in terms of planning and space-wise, you know? So, our bucket crafter's going to go there. And we're going to have our input system on the other side of it. And get our redstone in. Take out the slots. And then put in our failsafe system. And there we go. We should be getting automatic buckets again. Awesome. And they should be coming down here, right? I've got a composter in there. I don't want that in there. Now, the next 2 are going to be a little bit more difficult because I think we're going to make these our anvils. Oh, dear. Right, I think best way to do this, I think we're going to have our storage going into a double chest here, so we only have to craft once. And then that'll just fill up all of that. So, we can put double chest here, and we can have our hopper chain leading out from that. Now, the reason why anvils are going to be quite a bit more difficult is because, well, they don't just need iron for crafting, they also need iron blocks. So we're actually going to need to craft 2 separate items for this one. So it's going to be quite a bit more interesting. So this is going to be our bottom crafter. And I believe the anvil recipe is going to be an I shape. We've got the 3 slots at the top for the blocks, and then these, I believe, are going to be for the iron ingots. Or should I have this going a different way? You know what? I'm going to have this go a different way. And now we've got our redstone pointing out at a right angle there, which should mean that I can go ahead and create a bit of an interesting input system for this. Since there's 7 items in the anvil recipe, we're going to have 7 hoppers going into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the reason for that is because we want our items to be going into the crafter in a very specific order. We want the blocks first and then the iron ingots last. And if it messes up that order, then everything will not go as planned. It will all be ruined. So I'm going to use some droppers firing into these hoppers here. And that should enable us to get our items into the crafter in the correct order. We can fire all these droppers at once, and then all of these items will flow into the auto crafter here, and all should be well. Why is there a cow up here? How did you do that, sir? Ah, that's what I get for leaving random staircases around. Anyway, we want these droppers to fire as soon as this crafter has crafted an item. So we're going to do that just by putting So we're just going to... For goodness sake, get out of here, cow. I don't want you. Shoo, get off. Oi. How are you still on? There we go. What you deserve. But anyway, repeater there. Redstone dust there, and now whenever the crafter crafts an item, it'll reach its full length of redstone power up to this 9th block, and that should automatically power these droppers here, and it will fire the next batch in. And then we're going to have a hopper line in, putting the items into the droppers, but with these 3 hoppers here, we need to be crafting iron blocks. So how am I going to do that? So we're going to have another crafter going into these 3 hoppers here, and we can have our iron input system not only going into that crafter, but also into the iron for the other slots for the anvil crafting. So we can now craft our iron blocks, and they will be inputted into these first 3 droppers. And we also have an input for the iron ingots themselves. And I guess those droppers will have to fill up before we start crafting the iron blocks, but I think that's okay. I'm fine with that. That way, the system should only activate once we get iron blocks entering it. Although... Oh. I'm not sure we're going to be crafting iron blocks fast enough. Is that going to be an issue? I think it might be. So, how do I plan on locking this system? So I don't want to be crafting things when I have items overflowing, and also when I don't even have the iron blocks in the system in the first place. Or things may break. So, I believe we can lock our system by placing a repeater here, and then the last item that gets fired into this hopper will never enter the crafter and power it again. So that will help block the system from there, but I also need a way to make sure that the system isn't trying to fire when we don't have iron blocks created just yet. How do I do that? Do I just let it fill up? I think I do. If I put a glass block here, and a comparator there, that should be reading whether this hopper has items in it or not, and it should only have items in it once all of the droppers below have iron blocks inside of them. Yeah, I think that'll work. And I think it would be a good idea to just link that straight back up with the redstone over here. Alright, I don't see why that wouldn't work, so... If this is full, it goes over here, and it locks that... Oh, it locks it! Oh, I need a... I need to invert this signal, don't I? That was a close one. Okay. That goes there. Redstone torch there. Another block there. I'm invaded by phantoms. Put that there. And that should now lock that hopper until we have iron blocks in this hopper. Oh, it's going to take a long time to fill up though, isn't it? But that's fine, we just need it to work. So now I think we're going to move on to crafting our unstackables, like minecarts and shears. I don't particularly care too much about crafting these, but the fact that I can craft them means that I should. I mean, when it's possible, why not? So we've got our non-stackable crafters in place now, so for the minecarts, all I need to do is put those in there, and it would start crafting as we put more things in them. Probably put the items in there rather than the crafters themselves. And we can do the same for the shears on this side too. And yeah, that does appear to be working. And that is just 1/2 of the redstone spaghetti monster that I plan to build here. So I think I will come back to you once I've done the other half of the crafting system. I've done 5 items already, so it's just another 5 to go. I'll be back when it's done. And we have now completed the other side of the crafting system. So we've got the, what have we got? We've got the trapdoors, and the doors, and the iron bars. That's what the one I just looked at was. The cauldrons? No, that's the other side. No, this is this side. If it's If there's any indication that I am a bit confused as to what I'm looking at, it's because I've just built a massive redstone spaghetti monster. But you know what? It is my redstone spaghetti monster, and I am proud of it because it works. So we can now automatically craft all of these items that I have on this control panel here, and I can choose whether I craft them or not. I've actually made use of the new copper bulb block, and that's an interesting one. You can basically permanently turn it on just with a single redstone pulse, and then you can turn it off again with the next redstone pulse. So I quite like that block, I've got to say. It's an interesting mechanic. So that has enabled me to display which of these items I am currently crafting, and at the moment, it's all of them. But let's say, for example, I don't want to craft shears, I don't want to craft buckets, and I don't want to craft iron bars. Then the auto-crafting system will skip those items and it will prioritize these ones that have the lights lit. And it will prioritize the items even more on this side of the controller panel than this side, just because of how hopper chains work. The chains are the first item that the hoppers reach, so yeah, that's just going to be how that works. And I do feel like I actually want a specific item to be crafted, and at the moment, that is iron trapdoors. I have a feeling that at some stage, I'm going to want to build a creeper farm, and you know what? Killing creepers just to be able to use rockets is kind of limiting. I'm left with half a stack at the moment, and it also means that I don't really have good access to TNT, and I love TNT. So yeah, a creeper farm is something that's on my mind. So, trapdoors, I'm gonna want a lot of those. And the way this control panel works is that you press a button and it actually goes straight into this T flip-flop that I've got here. And that will push a redstone block against these hoppers, and that is what enables me to control where all of the iron goes into which auto-crafting system below here. So I do actually have a lot of control over what I craft. Pretty good, eh? I've also noticed while I've been up here that there's been quite a few cats spawning. So we've got ourselves the jelly cat, and we've also got this sandy-coloured cat as well. So yeah, I didn't mean to have an unintentional cat farm up here, but it appears that I do have one. Could probably do with having some of the items in here in the actual storage system though, so I say that we actually go ahead and push our observers into place, and the noise machine has activated. Oh, it's so noisy. But we do have anvils, we've got pressure plates, we've got buckets, we've got minecarts, shears, cauldrons, chains are still going up, good. Trapdoors, iron bars are still going up, good. And the doors, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. And the chain should continue to go up. I think we had quite a bit of a backlog over there actually, because of the way I was testing this thing. I had a lot of iron going into that crafter. So we should get quite a few chains in here. Oh. You know what? I've just remembered. I've done some more mining in between episodes and I forgot to mention it at the start. So I've moved my beacon over slightly to the side and we've mined out a new area. Not as much as the area that we had over there, but it has given us quite a few diamonds, and unfortunately there is this giant cave here. I'm sure that's probably dropped our diamond rate quite considerably, but we do have 3 stacks and 17, which is a really good haul. That's almost as good as last time. And not only that, we've actually got 4 ores extra, because I've got some of the stone variety. I got these stone diamond ores when I was draining these little caves of lava for the nether portal build last time. I think these ones in particular were just here, but I could be wrong. Might be misremembering that. Ah. Why did the Enderman come down here and just litter everywhere? Ah, oh, there's so many grass blocks this time. Anyway, though, let's just go right ahead and fortune up all of these diamonds and just see how many diamond blocks we'll be able to add to our blue lava floor down here. Okay. Oh, this is a lot of diamonds. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. Ooh, that is nice. Not as many as last time, I don't think. 7 stacks and 35 is pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with that. And if I add those two to there and get our crafting table out, we'll see how many we've got. 53 diamond blocks. Pretty good. I think that's our second largest haul. Oh, we've got a lot of diamonds in today. Right, let's see this. Oh, that's so much. Oh, that's so much progress. We've got like an entire island of Skulk there now. I've got 3 complete islands actually. That's awesome. It's looking really cool, this blue lava floor now, I've got to say. Can't wait till we have the whole thing finished because that is going to be really cool. But I've got to say, this has been a huge improvement to the iron farm. The fact that I can just craft all of those iron items without so much as batting my eye. Oh, it's good. I am a happy boy today. I'm so glad that I've been able to make use out of these new copper bulbs as well. That's pretty cool. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to end the episode there though, because I've been playing too much Minecraft today. There are still things that I would like to do to the iron farm system. We haven't done anything regarding crafting iron blocks or bone blocks or red dye. And I'd like to make a change to the kill chamber at some point as well. It shouldn't be down here. It should be up there. That's where I really want to have it. The whole idea is that I'm going to have a volcano here after all. So I want to kill iron golems in the caldera of the volcano. So the fact that they're all the way down here. Oh, no. We really shouldn't be doing that. But I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!